'cause they follow as I keep running in circles. I see your face, your eyes turn gray. Do you see me? Can't rest my mind even though I've tried. I gave you everything. How did it all come crashing down that easy? Collecting your ghosts, 'cause they follow as I keep running in circles. I wanna break free from what is left. emotions, they escape till I'm numb. Suddenly you're looking for a way inside my head. Don't know how to say it, but there's nothing of me left. Try all that you want, baby, you can be my guest. You can be my guest. Don't look back, you're almost at the heart of me. Heart of me. Not much left there, just a little part of me. A part of me, 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 a part of me. Don't look back, you're almost at the heart of me, heart of me. Not much left there, just a little part of me, a part of me. Now you're stuck without the video. Telling good up in all of my doubts. Suddenly you're looking for a way inside my head. Don't know how to say it, but there's nothing of me left. Try all that you want, baby, you can be my guest. You can be my guest. Don't look back, you're almost at the heart of me, heart of me. Not much left there, just a little part of me, a 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 part of me. Don't look back, you're almost at the heart of me, heart of me. Not much left there, just a little part of me, a part of me.
Hey there, friends. What is going on? Welcome. I know we skipped last week. I fought off a cold. I fought it with my bare hands because I will tell you guys, I was losing it last week. I was getting the shivers. I was getting the stuffy nose. I was coughing. I was sneezing. It was awful. So I appreciate you guys for coming back the following week. And man, what the heck did I miss? Because the Reddit has exploded with awesome stuff for us to talk about tonight. We've got a full lineup of trailers and gaming news to talk about. And I am super pumped about that because that's the whole point, right? I asked you guys, hey, if you're going to join, if you're going to be part of these Sunday things with us, like, help us on the subreddit, and you guys came through. We're up to 50 members. That is huge. Thank you guys for that. But, like, look at this list of stuff we got to talk about today. Like, we're eating good tonight. This is a awesome lineup of stuff to talk about, and I'm super pumped to do it with you all. We're kicking off the night with already over 24 of you in the chat. Let's see if we can keep this thing growing week after week. That is the goal, right? So Leavitt told me I had to look at this one, Lost Skies, so I'm not going to forget about that one, but I do want to go all the way back to where we ended the last stream and pick it up from there just to start. I promise, Livid, I will not miss your Lost Skies trailer. I will not do it. But as always, if you guys want to support the channel, you want to support this crazy like live stream thing into React content on the second channel that we're doing, just keep showing up every Sunday. Join the subreddit. Be part of that with us. And let's go. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's not waste any time. Guys, I was super pumped to see that Stronghold was coming back with another game. Stronghold Crusader, man, that's my freaking childhood. That is my absolute childhood. I played Stronghold from the moment I could, honest to God, sit in front of a computer. So, like, this is a big deal for me. I will tell you, I didn't have a ton of time because, again, I was pretty sick. They were doing this RTS festival on Steam last week, and you had an opportunity to play Stronghold Crusader, I played it for like 10 minutes, and then I was just done. I couldn't sit in front of a computer anymore. I was just out of it. So I'm super pumped to see that the Firefly guys are working on another Stronghold, even if it's a definitive edition for Crusader, which came out forever ago. Man, this is my childhood right here, and I'm super pumped they're doing something with this. So let's check it out together, because Crusader, I think, and you guys can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but Crusader was one of the most beloved versions of Stronghold, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, Stronghold Crusader Definitive Edition. This is the 4K reveal trailer, classic RTS City Builder remastered. Let's see. I mean, this looks like what I remember.
Good day, my friends, and welcome back to the desert with Stronghold Crusader Definitive Edition.
Yeah, looks exactly like how I remember.
Over 20 years have passed since we first enlisted you to build your castle economy, skirmish against rival lords, and besiege enemy castles. Today, we beckon you once more unto the Holy Lands. So gird your loins and sharpen your steel, for you will soon be tested.
Yeah, it looks really clean.
Desert is a cruel land, with fearsome opponents to be found, devilishly designed castles, and grand armies to command. So make sure your walls are strong, your soldiers are in good heart, and maybe you will enjoy the smell of victory.
Nice. Ooh, new units, 4 new opponents, cool. Larger maps, new campaign and trails. Co-op trail.
Crusader.
Nice.
Wishlist now on Steam.
There you go. July 15th if you're into that sort of thing. Very cool stuff. Here's what genuine thoughts about Stronghold as a series, as a franchise, if you will. Quite honestly, this is a game from another era. Clearly, right? It's a remastered. But like, the game itself is not structurally any different. I don't know what just happened. Everything froze. There it is. Structurally different, right? It's still about placing a ton of buildings on your map and pretty much just overwhelming your opponent. There's not a lot of strategy to the economy side of things. There very much is build this building, get this resource, use that resource to create a soldier, and just throw the soldiers at each other. Right, like that's kind of what this is all about, and that's fine. That's fine for what this game is and always has been. And if you're into that, and if that's what you remember, like I did back when I was a kid, you may be really interested in this. If you're looking for that next layer deeper, right, like more strategy around the economy and more intricate trade, this is not the game for you, and this series is not for you. Because the RTS genre, while it is certainly a shell of its former self, has evolved way past this. Since these games came out, there have been 4X games, and then there have been grand strategy games, and then there have been, RTS games to the nth degree. So Stronghold Crusader is very much a nostalgia play, right? It's very much you used to play this as a kid or maybe a young adult, and like, we're bringing it back because it's been 20 years. 20 years, guys. I was playing this game when I was like 12 years old. Just crazy stuff. It's an RTS in the sense that, yes, everything is real time, but quite honestly, it's an RTS from another era. That's just the best way to describe it. And I loved it for what it was back then. I really did. But again, I only played the demo for about 15, 20 minutes, and you feel it right away. It feels like a game from another era, and the enemy will just throw, troops at you, and you have to react to that. And if you're not scaling your your economy quickly enough, you just can't do anything to outplay them. There's no smarts associated with it. It's who can throw more soldiers at the other one who's a little bit better at the rock, paper, scissors type of mentality, and that person usually wins. There's a really fun element of building castles with Stronghold that I always loved. The turrets and the multi-layered walls, and then like there used to be some additional things, like I can't even remember, there was a few different Strongholds at this point, but like Stronghold 3 I think it was, which wasn't well received, had some interesting ideas as well. This is a much more simpler take on it. I am pumped that there are new units. That's pretty cool, right? For a remaster to introduce some new content is really exciting. And then you've got 4 new AI opponents, which is pretty cool. It looks like Joan of Arc, some sort of Crusader. I'm sure this is somebody famous that I'm forgetting, and then some sort of cultist of some sort, which is kind of cool. Like, I like that they're doing that. They each bring their own personality, obviously. And then larger maps is pretty cool too, especially if you're going to get into like multiplayer, right? 4 or 5 different kingdoms on the same map. It used to feel really congested. This will solve for that. Obviously, the technology is better. And then new campaigns and trails. So you've got 6 different trails of the Lamb, the Baron's Crusade, Trail of the Goat, Falcon, Leopard, and the 7th Crusade. So slight map variations, hopefully some narrative elements there. It's cool stuff. Like this is what a remaster should be. Co-op trail, I'm not exactly sure what that means. If you're playing a campaign in parallel, maybe, I'm not entirely sure how that would work. The infrastructure has never been great. Like, if you've ever played a Stronghold game, you go in and you're like, wow, this UI is jank. The multiplayer UI is jank. All of the pieces underneath the game are a little rough around the edges. But either way, I am super pumped about Stronghold Crusader Definitive Edition coming out on July 15th. This is a lizard brain game for me, and I am pretty pumped to check it out when the time is right in the middle of the summer. All right, guys, I am checking in with everybody in the chat here. I saw a few of you say hello. Broadcast, podcast, and gaming. What's going on, man? Good to see you guys. Dante, good to have you. Lexicon, good to have you back. Oh, man, I see an old staple of the Legacy community. I always forget how to pronounce your name, but ADTRL, the gamer. What's up, man? Good to see you. And, yeah, let's keep this thing rolling as we go into the night because we got a lot of trailers to talk about. But I see that some of you are interested in the giveaway. So I'm going to pull up the giveaway over here. If you guys didn't know, we were doing a giveaway for a copy of Avowed. It is finished now. Let's see if I can pull the winner. And I don't even know how to do this because I've only done this once before. How do I pull a winner? Draw the winner. Can I do this over here without screwing anything up? I'm going to draw the winner. Here we go. All right, so this is for our Avowed giveaway. We were doing what I call the Follow Us Everywhere campaign, where we were basically asking y'all to join the subreddit or follow us on the second channel on YouTube. And, yeah, so we had about 100 entries. Let's see who won. Yep, draw one winner. And our winner is Mayor Adrian Baptiste from Taiwan. Cool. So we'll be reaching out to Mayor and hook him up with a key for Avowed, which is coming out in the middle of February. And, yeah, we'll move on. Add Tyrell. There we go. Add Tyrell. I know, man. You've been with us for a really long time, which is super, super awesome of you. So thank you for following along with the channel and keeping us honest here. All right. We're going to jump into the next one here, because I am really excited about this one. Darkest Dungeon 2 DLC. This is Inhumane. Is it Bondage? Inhumane Bondage. So for those of you who don't know, I have recently come into a Steam Deck. It's been, I don't know, it's been a little bit now. I've had it for like a couple months, maybe 2 months. And one of the games that I recently picked up to start playing again was Darkest Dungeon 2. And I have really enjoyed that on the Steam Deck immensely. So I wanted to keep checking out all of the new content for the game. There's already been a couple DLCs. I understand that Darkest Dungeon 2 was didn't hit quite the same as Darkest Dungeon for a variety of reasons, but I really enjoy it. I really do. I think it's a really interesting game. They've done a lot of really cool stuff with this game, just different ideas, different approaches to things. And as we always talk about, guys, innovation is a currency in this space. The more you can innovate, or at least try to innovate, the more kudos you get from me. even if the game isn't perfect, I'm going to give you credit for trying to be innovative and doing something different. And for those of you that don't know, Darkest Dungeon 2 takes a completely different kind of approach to dungeon diving. You're not walking through a dungeon. You're actually traveling along a route in your like caravan, your wagon, if you will, and you have to choose your different paths. So it's very roguelite in that sense. But there's a lot of things that are familiar yet new at the same time, such as the wagon can, depending on the path you take, get damaged by going over like rough terrain, or it can lose durability by going through a trap, things like that. So this is the latest DLC, which also coincides with a free update, which I don't think they're going to talk about in this trailer, but I am excited to see what Inhumane Bondage is, because I heard there was a new hero. I have not been able to check it out yet, so this is the first time I'm seeing this, and I am very excited. So let's check it out.
As the great change took hold, an unaccountable mire pushed up through the trembling earth, liquefying the dead.
Oh. Whole new set of enemies?
Beaten
Oh
and
yeah, the
branded,
Abomination is back.
This vagrant is more dangerous than he seems.
Nice. Huh. All right, so this is clearly out. They don't give us a ton to work with here, so I'm going to pause it in a couple spots where I think is interesting to talk about. But yeah, they have done, I think, 3 of these now. I know the Duelist is a hero that was new to the entire Darkest Dungeon universe that I purchased for the first DLC. Then the Crusader, excuse me, not the Paladin. The Crusader came back for the second DLC, and this is also a returning hero, the Abomination. So what's interesting about this is also this world that you're seeing here. I think this is either a new biome or a new sub-biome. I don't think a DLC is enough for an entire new biome, because like I said, this DLC also coincides with a free update called Kingdoms, which is a completely free different game mode in Darkest Dungeon 2. But I do see some, like these slime enemies are reminiscent of enemies that were in Darkest Dungeon, the original game. And yeah, like even these guys here, they're reminiscent of previous enemies, but still very different. I don't know how they're connected to the actual Abomination, who you can see in the 3rd rank here. My guess is you have to unlock the Abomination once you buy the DLC, which is exactly how they did it for the Crusader. So I'm pretty excited to actually pick this one up when I have a little bit of time, check it out, because I love new heroes. Like, I am just a sucker for new heroes. Doesn't matter what game it is, a hero shooter, a roguelike dungeon crawler, it does not matter. I love new heroes, and I'm really excited to check out what the Abomination brings to the game. I really enjoy Darkest Dungeon 2. If you guys have not checked it out, this is just like an unsolicited endorsement of the game. I never got the chance to make content for it other than its initial launch, which I think those videos are still on the channel, believe it or not. There were some initial guides for the game, which are very out of date at this point, but really enjoyed everything that the game had to offer, even back then, even though it's not the same. And that's part of why people didn't like it. It wasn't the same as Darkest Dungeon. It was a different take on Darkest Dungeon, and people don't like that, right? Sometimes for sequels, people just want the same thing but better, and that's not what the team gave them. They gave them something different and, in my opinion, better, but some people don't like that. So just if you're curious, the Abomination, who is a hero returning for Darkest Dungeon, he's a front rank hero. He's got flexible damage, which means he can damage usually from multiple points, whether it's rank 1, which is the front, or all the way back to rank 4. Disruption, which means some sort of crowd control, whether it's a stun, whether it's movement. So there's abilities in Darkest Dungeon where you can move the enemy either forward or backwards. And then modal skill sets, which I'm not entirely sure what that means. Maybe it's just because he can transform into a different, right? He's a man, but also this creature that gives him two different move sets, right? That would be modal in my mind. But yeah, as you can see, he's effective from all 4 ranks, and he can target all 4 ranks, which is a very flexible damage dealer. So cool hero, and you can see all of the heroes available in the game, plus the duelist here, plus the crusader. So yeah, it's a really good lineup of heroes. We will see if this is the end for Darkest Dungeon 2. Its 1.0 release has already happened. It's on Steam now, so that's where I've been playing it. It was an Epic exclusive to start, which is why I absolutely hated the launch, because nobody plays on Epic, right? We all know that unless you're playing Fortnite. So, you know, they made a decision. They went into business for themselves. That's fine. Game's on Steam now, and you can check it out. This is Inhuman Bondage, which is a DLC that's available now as of January 27th. So there you go. All right, guys, let's bring it back. We got to keep going. We got to keep going. We got to keep going. We don't have any choice but to keep going, because there's so much going on this just week of 2 weeks, honestly, of trailers. And I want to stop and talk about Eternal Strands. And I know Livid's not on the stream necessarily with me. He's probably in the chat working. So, like, if you have any questions about this next one, feel free to ask, because Livid spent, I think, 50+ hours with Eternal Strands. He has reviewed it. There is a full review on the channel. You guys should check it out. We actually got a shout out from the developers in the comments of that video for Livid doing such a great job playing it, being so thorough with his critique and his praise of the game. It's a really cool game. It's a really interesting game that takes some ideas from Shadow of the Colossus and tries to expand on them in a modern way. And you know what? Some things work, some things don't work, and that's okay. That's how these things go. So we're going to check this one out. I don't know what is going on with my YouTube tonight. Everything is just like laggy as heck. It's only 2 minutes long, and I'm going to give you my take on all of this, right? Because I have not played the game. This was a Livid game. He took this one on, head on, played it 50+ hours, did the whole review. Obviously, I saw his review, and I you know, kind of formed my own opinion based on his opinions. But still, I'm seeing this fresh. I have not played the game at all, a second of it. So I'm watching this fresh just like you guys. Let's check it out. Cool tactic. This is actually a very interesting marketing strategy. Like responding to comments with gameplay clips. I actually really like that. It's pretty smart. That is pretty cool. I did not know that was a thing. I think we talk about yeeting enemies in our review, to be honest with you. There you go. Nice. Very nice. All right, guys, that is Eternal Strands. That is available right now. That is a really clever trailer. Well done for them for just like recognizing the challenges that indie developers go through sometimes to try and get their games in front of people, right? They're reacting to comments, showing gameplay clips. It's a really cool way to go about it, right? Because indie games really, unless they have major marketing bucks behind them, which this game clearly does not and did not during its initial like pre-launch period, they have to generate buzz any way they can. And the best way to do that, in my opinion, is kind of what they're tapping into here. Expanding on the excitement that was organic within the community and doing something really clever with it. the game itself is really fun, right? Livid really liked the game. He really likes certain elements of the game. It is an RPG light. There are kind of repetitive parts to this game that are not necessarily known going into it, right? So it's really expedition based. It's hub and spoke based. So you're in your hub and you're doing all sorts of kind of expeditions to the same parts of the world over and over again based on various factors, what you're trying to accomplish. And that's not really showcased well in all of these trailers. There are these big, great enemies that you do have to defeat, but there are also very specific ways that you can defeat them to gain access to more powerful abilities. So it's really strange. I'm like parroting some stuff that Livid talked about in his review while also never playing the game, which is really challenging to do because I've never played it myself. I watched him play a little bit of it, and I think really the bottom line is this. Like, this is a good game that should be getting a little bit more attention than it currently has. Its initial sales numbers are not great. I think there was a couple hundred people playing it during its launch. There's a lot of really good things about this game, including some of the narrative stuff. The voice acting is really good. There's definitely some cut corners in terms of the narrative, like nothing is fully animated, but the voice acting is really good. Like I listened to some of the voice lines in Livid's raw gameplay, and it's really good. So if you're interested in like RPGs that tell a good high fantasy story with some compelling voice acting, yeah, this game has that. Some of the combat parts of this game are a little hit and miss, right? There's definitely some floatiness, some fantasy combat, if you will, forgive the pun. Things are just a little bit floaty. Some people love that, some people hate that. But it's going to play more like an action fantasy game than something a little bit more grounded. And that's definitely definitely, you know, a style and a way, something that they proactively chose to do. But you also see a ton of magic stuff in the game. And really the magic stuff is what I think is the most fun about all of the different pieces of this game, whether it's the big enemies, the exploration, etc. The magic is very cool because you've got kind of your, I forget, you know, Livid, correct me if I'm wrong, whatever your manipulation magic is, whether it's gravity or nether or something like that. And then you've obviously got ice and fire. And the way those interact with each other is really cool because the environment can also change. Kinetic, thank you. So you've got your kinetic magic, your fire magic, and your frost magic. And depending on the world and how the world changes, those magics kind of do different things. So at one point, one of the parts of the map that you're exploring could be just normal, right? Just a normal part of the map. And then the next time you go into that area, it could be dry and everything could catch on fire. And they all really interact with each other and have these different combination effects that are just really cool. There's an interplay within the magic, and then layer on top of that, you know, the physical combat. That's just really fun. So if you're looking for a game as you wait for maybe Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 or Monster Hunter Wilds, and you're into these types of games, I think the people that have given it a shot, that are kind of like reputable reviewers, I'm not saying we're the only ones, of course. There are plenty of other good reviewers out there, have played this game and liked this game. I think there's folks who were going into it expecting one thing and getting something different. They probably didn't like it, but we did. And honestly, all I can say is check out our full review. Livid does a great job kind of really summarizing it. It's my voice that you're going to hear, but it's all his words and his thoughts. So check that out. It's on the channel. Maybe Livid can drop a link to that video in the chat. You guys can squirrel it away for next time. But yeah, we give it a thumbs up for sure. I wouldn't say it's a double thumbs up. You have to buy this game, but it's certainly a thumbs up that Eternal Strands is a good game. No doubt about that. All right, that's enough of that. Guys, it's Sunday. It's 9:23. We are cruising through the list. Want to thank you guys for posting on the subreddit, of course. Sovarek, one of the newer names to the group. Of course, we got Sang in there. Who else we got on here? A lot of Sovarek. Man, Sovarek's crushing it. Difficult Spare, thank you guys. If you're on the stream right now and you're not subscribed to the subreddit, it's the Legacy Gaming subreddit. We ask that you guys, we're crowdsourcing all this stuff. All these trailers that you guys see on here are all sourced by you all. So thank you guys for taking part and being part of the community, giving us stuff to talk about every week. And like I said at the beginning, I am behind about 30 trailers because I was sick last week. So we're going to keep going here. And I'm going to jump all the way back up. Because it's Livid's trailer that he told me I had to react to this week. Lost Skies. what he's got some comments here. Let's see what his comments are, guys. I'm going to make it nice and big for you all. Just came across this game the other day. Apparently, the same studio who developed Worlds Adrift is back with what looks like a modern, more complete version of what they had originally envisioned. There are a ton of other cool trailers I'll link below. Seems to be a co-op PvE survival style game. Worlds Adrift had PvP as I think PvP in it as well with the Sandbox MMO years ago. 3 more vids to check out below. All right, so we've got this main trailer here, the cinematic, and then we've got a dev diary and 2 other trailers. So let's start with the cinematic, and we'll branch off as needed. All right, here we go. Let's get this one all nice and pulled up. This is called Lost Skies. We won't hang on the cinematic too long. If it's just cinematics, we won't hang on it too long. Let's check it out.
Heralds, harbingers, the seraph. What we chose to call them is irrelevant. Their arrival marked the end of our world. Civilization, culture, continents, torn apart and left in ruin. But life perseveres.
Looks nice.
In our last act of defiance, we boarded
Some
the
rigid
Arks.
animation, but that's okay.
For centuries we lay hidden. The Arks were discovered. Now we must awaken and together explore what is left of our world. Danger is everywhere. The Seraph are still out there. But so are we. We must scour our past for technology. Adapting, learning, gaining power, and build as we once did. We shall board our skyships.
I like the
and
sky
journey
ships.
this fractured land until united we strike with the fury of centuries
Some
lost
frame rate stuff I don't love.
and take back the skies.
All right. All right. So I know Steam Next Fest is coming at the end of February, I believe. So that's exciting. I'm not gonna replay that one down. I've got some initial thoughts, but this is the gameplay reveal trailer. It's a minute long, and we'll probably linger on this one for a second. I thought some of the cinematic stuff was a little hitchy, animation-wise, but let's see if the gameplay trailer is any different. And looks a little bit smoother. Yeah, it does. Looks way smoother. It's funny how similar this is to Aloft, right? We did a review of Aloft, an early access review of Aloft on the channel. I played that for about 25 hours, which really was the extent of the early access. This game is very similar to that with some different nuances, right? It's still a bunch of floating islands. You're still traveling between those islands, but instead of, you know, these airships, the entire island is your ship, in Aloft at least. But a lot of this is very similar, right? You've got a glider that is very clearly giving you a ton of accessibility. You know, each island is unique with its own kind of points of interest and, you know, treasures to find. I like some of the gunplay stuff. Like Aloft does not have any of that gunplay stuff. It was really like a bow, a spear, an axe, and like that's fine. But I think, quite honestly, seeing something a little bit more advanced, like nomadic plus robotic, is kind of cool. I like seeing this stuff. What I don't love, and I'm going to pause right here, and again, I can't believe I'm talking about this game again, is when I see things like this, I think of Last Oasis. I just do. I just do, because The Last Oasis, for any of you who have played it, was one of the best survival games that was out there during the time. Its launch was incredible. It was one of the most fun experiences I have ever had with gaming. Part of what made Last Oasis so amazing was that every time you built a walker, it felt like your own personal hub where you really, like, it was your epicenter. It was everything to you in this one tiny package. And like for us, it was trying to build the bigger ones, the Tusker, and then like I can't even remember some of the bigger walkers, but like I remember building some of those big walkers and like feeling truly like we had accomplished something as a massive team. And then like all the drama, like the PvP drama, it has nothing to do with it. This feels a little sterile. It feels like, okay, you're building this ship, you've got some gun platforms on it, like there's a barrel, that's cool, but like it doesn't feel like this is where you're going to spend your time. And that is part of it that's part of what I loved about Last Oasis. Your walker was your lifeline to the entire game. And I don't know if that's the case here, right? Like you saw some of the building stuff in the other trailer, you know, where the character is placing down beacons and clearly crafting stations and stuff. But all that happened on the walker in Last Oasis, which it just was so good. I cannot describe to you just how good that was. And I'm not taking that away from Lost Skies. Of course, I'm going to give it a shot. But like, there was just something really special about Last Oasis that I still, to this day, years later, cannot get over. And I actually sent something to Livid the other day because they just dropped a new update that allowed for modders finally. And like, man, awesome. They should have done that day one, because modding communities, as you guys know, can keep these types of games going. They can keep them alive even if they have a small community, right? And Last Oasis was just ripe for modding. There was so much they could have done. Man, just that game has a special place in my heart. Anyways, Lost Skies Island Creator. This is the third trailer that Livid posted on the subreddit, so let's check it out. Oh, that's kind of cool. Wow, this is like legit creation tools. That's really nice. Nice. I'm really vibing to that music, but I think you guys get the point. Really cool that they're offering this tool also. Hopefully this is something that launches with the game on day one, because again, these smaller games that don't necessarily have a massive viral community, which this game won't. It'll have an okay following, but it's not going to have a massive following. That's just the way these games go. Something like an Island Creator is absolutely going to help keep the game going, whether it's through early access or just after launch. So it looks like a really cool, powerful set of tools. You know, this is not something that I am necessarily skilled at, but I know a lot of people who play these types of games, who get really into these types of games, would love something like this. And if you can add this into multiplayer worlds, you know, put it out there for other people to explore, create interesting puzzles, or possibly put some awesome loot on these islands, how that kind of fabrics back into the weave of the game could be pretty interesting. So I think this game's got an interesting premise, right? It's very similar to Aloft and other games of this kind of ilk, but ultimately I think it's a really cool core concept. It's going to live and die by its gameplay and the attention it can get. So whenever this game does come out, like I said, the first trailer kind of revealed that it's going to be at Steam Next Fest. I think it's going to get a lot of buzz during that Steam Next Fest. And you guys can check out that other piece if you want to check out the Dev Diary, which is up on the subreddit as well. So it's 4 minutes long. You know what? Let's just take a look at it. We're already on the trail. Let's just do it. Let's just look at it. We got plenty of stuff to look at. We don't need to go that fast for things, and anything we don't get to, we'll just do next week. So let's check it out.
Hey everyone, Luke Williams here from Bossa Games, and today I'm super excited to share an early look at something new we're bringing to you in collaboration with Humble Games.
He seems far too good looking to be a game
adventure
dev.
Called Lost Skies. Lost Skies takes place in a fantastical world of airborne islands and soaring skyships, where strange and massive ancient beings have shattered the land, and the last remnants of humanity must band together to survive among the clouds. You play as one of these last survivors, setting out on a journey across the skies to explore ruins from a lost age. Build and command a skyship either solo or alongside your friends, and ultimately find a way to banish the awesome and terrifying entities that shattered your world. Where you go and how you get there is entirely up to you. Lost Skies draws inspiration from one of Boss's earlier games called Worlds Adrift. The idea of adventuring among the clouds was at the heart of that game too, and we've always loved that core concept. So we're thrilled to be able to head skyward again and bring players a completely new and ultimately very different co-op focused experience.
It is very interesting for them to have created a game that is so similar, just like surface level similar. I never played Worlds Adrift, but I saw some of you guys in the comments said that you did. It's very interesting that, like, to not call it a direct sequel or a reimagination of their original idea, and for him to outright say, this is such a different game. It doesn't look different. Let's see if it actually is.
That shares a lot of that same spirit. One of the big things we want to do with Lost Skies is give players a sense of tremendous freedom and endless possibility. As you're sailing between the clouds and spotting all the tiny specks in the distance, we want players to know that's a real island waiting. And if you're ready for the journey, you'll be able to discover what's there for yourself. You'll find ancient ruins to explore and islands full of resources to upgrade your ship or your character, although they may be guarded by creatures that need vanquishing or puzzles that need solving. Explore far enough and you might uncover a great secret that takes you closer to understanding what happened to your world. We want that sense of freedom to extend to exploring the world on foot too. In the world of Lost Skies, survivors have become adept at using grappling hooks to hurl themselves from point to point, personal paragliders to help them soar through the sky, and there are many other tools for you to discover. Our goal is to make all of these feel natural and exhilarating to use. You'll also have the freedom to build your skyship the way you want and with whom you want, whether you see yourself as a lone explorer or as part of an adventurous sky crew. As you're sailing through the sky, you might find your way blocked by a treacherous storm wall, and you won't be able to survive until you fortify your ship. You'll also need to bolster your ship's weapons and defenses to engage in battles against hostile enemies, and ultimately confront bigger, more mysterious dangers that lurk in the endless expanse of the sky. It's you and your crew's flying fortress, your base of operations, and your home. Lost Skies is being crafted by a team of amazing artists, designers, engineers, and other developers at Bossa Games, who all share a passion for bringing creative new ideas to life and forging inclusive worlds where players can achieve awesome things together. We also believe that the best way to achieve our vision is with the help of our community. And soon, we'll be sharing info on how you can be part of the development process in the early stages. If you're interested in Lost Skies, check out our official site and make sure to wishlist the game on Steam. We can't wait to show you more.
Nice. Yeah, I don't think anything about that like convinced me that this game is revolutionary. It feels very much like what Aloft is also presenting. And Aloft, while it kind of released to decent reviews, like did not take the gaming world by storm the way that a massively successful game did. They're doing a couple different things, right? Like the grappling hook is different. Aloft doesn't have a grappling hook, but that sense of like limitless freedom, definitely something that Aloft was trying to capture. Like the glider mechanic is incredibly easy to use and master, and very forgiving. So I think Lost Skies, it's got a cool concept, just like Aloft has a cool concept. It's going to have to prove itself. It's going to have to win over people, and it's going to have to prove itself that it's more than just island hopping and looking for resources, because ultimately that's what Aloft felt like to me, was just moving through islands, collecting basic resources, building the next thing, and that got really boring really quick. Like, especially because you have to travel to each cluster of islands, and that takes like 10 minutes at a clip. So there's definitely something here, and hopefully these guys can tap into it. But yeah, we'll see. A true PvE game in this space may not be the solution. I think there has to be elements of PvP for something like this to work, and to make those gunships actually feel really valuable, right? Like PvE stuff is cool, but part of this genre is just baked in PvP. And I wouldn't have said that years ago, but I think now that I've had the chance to play survival games with PvP elements, it's what defines this genre in the best possible way. So this is Lost Skies, guys. If you want to check it out, Steam Next Fest is coming at the end of February, and they're going to have a demo, and you can check it out for yourself. All right. That was a good one, Liv. I like that one. I think there's a lot of cool stuff there that, I don't know, I think is going to be really interesting. Yeah, it's interesting, yeah, if Worlds Adrift was PvP and this one is not, that is a little surprising, to be honest with you. But maybe they realize that trying to balance the PvP of that game, even if it was a couple years ago, however many years ago it was, just wasn't working. But I think what they're going to find with the PvE side of things is people are going to get bored and they're going to move on. PvP keeps the PvE players, I don't know how to describe this. PvE alone is not enough in a game like this. Like I said, you could spend 15 hours playing it, but if you get bored after the first 3, then like it's not a good experience. The PvP may be frustrating at times, right? Losing resources or something like that. But if you create systems to reward players who are smart about how they engage with the world, then it creates a much different environment. Yeah, and that's part of it. That's part of it, right? If PvP ends up destroying the new player experience, then something has failed and it's not going to be an enjoyable game. But if you can reward players to get through that new player experience and get them to engage in a world in a way that makes sense, right? Like creating bases that can't be demolished is a perfect example, right? Give people an opportunity to make their base, to go out into the world, and if they're out in the world, they can be killed, but their base is safe, right? That's a very safe way of doing PvP in a survival game. But there are other options too. So we'll see what Lost Skies ends up being. I am not necessarily swayed one way or the other. We're just going to have to see. All right, this next one on the list is from Sovarek. This is called Liquidation. I don't know anything about this one, but it looks like a StarCrafty type of game, which I'm always a fan of. This is only 46 seconds long, so this is going to be some sort of teaser or small cut of this, which is totally fine. So this is called Liquidation. Strange name for a game, but let's check it out. Your strategy awaits. Crusade. Okay. Corruption. Scourge. And Legion. I'm assuming this is just 4. Interesting. Microprose and Devio. I don't know either of those developers, publishers. Never heard of them before. I don't know. This kind of looks like Warcraft meets StarCraft. This doesn't feel necessarily groundbreaking. This feels like it is trying to tap into something that we haven't seen in a hot minute, right? Like there has not been a game in this genre that looks quite like this in a while. There's been a couple over the last few years that have popped up. I can't remember what that big one is, but there was one that was from a Stormgate. That's it. That's the one I was thinking about, which is trying to tap into the similar energy, right? You're taking kind of the vibe of StarCraft and Warcraft and trying to bring that into the modern environment, which I think is fine. There you go. Dante saying Microprose was Masters of Orion 2, so one of his favorite games of all time. So maybe they do know what they're doing, right? I don't know this developer as far as I could throw them. And they're not really telling us enough here other than revealing the factions, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with revealing the factions, right? We were getting a sense of kind of the aesthetics and maybe the potential troops for each of the 4 factions that they revealed: Corruption, Crusade, Legion, and Scourge. And yeah, you kind of get a sense for like how things are going to play out. It's very troop driven, obviously. I'm sure it's mostly macro strategy as opposed to micro strategy. That's just basically what I'm seeing here in the trailer. And that's fine for a lot of people. A lot of people like that type of stuff. Microprose doesn't really market well, but they make good games. Hey, marketing is part of the battle, but ultimately if a game is really good, it should break through, right? So here's their marketing right now. Showing 46 of you guys what this game is all about. This is called Liquidation. And if you're interested in it, you can check it out because it's going to be, what is it, just wish-listed for now? Yeah, just wish-listed now on Steam. Let's see if the Steam page is, oh, don't look at that. You're not supposed to know I have that. It's okay. It's okay. Nobody's going to get mad at you. Let's see here. Coming soon to early access. Okay, so early access game. Welcome to the world of VA. Gameplay. Equipped for battle. Equip your units with a variety of weapons. Oh, that's interesting. It's up to you to choose the right tool for the job. Army composition. In Liquidation, no one unit can dominate all other. Build your army carefully. Every unit is designed to complement another's weakness. That's fascinating. Choose a tactically sound ability to disrupt enemy actions. So tactical abilities, that's something that we've seen before in obviously Warcraft and StarCraft. Nothing new there. Friendly matches. Nothing better than a few online matches with your friends, even if you become mortal enemies by the end of it. Co-op story, that's interesting. Online ladder, replay and sharing. Hire mercenaries. Command powerful commanders. Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely a little bit more here than they revealed in that trailer. I'm not sure why that trailer was so short when they clearly have a little bit more they want to talk about. But the game certainly looks interesting, just from an aesthetic perspective. Here's some close-ups of units. So some other images that we saw. Oh, here's the UI. I can't tell if that's a 3D image or a 2D image. Not that it really matters, but, you know, this is all really, really familiar. Yeah, you see the active abilities down here, Q and W. A selection of troops of the Crusade. I see, like, Commander possibly. 2 other warriors here, and then 2 other different units. Yeah, it's cool. If you're into this genre, I think there's enough here to at least pique your interest. This is definitely a game I would say if they're going to be at if they're coming out this year with some sort of early access, they're probably going to be at Steam Next Fest. So I would keep an eye on Liquidation if this is something that you're interested in. Yeah, and Microprose, they're the publisher on this one. I don't know any of these games. Exfil, Urban Strife, they publish a lot of games, right? It's not the developer. Divio is the developer. It doesn't look like they have any other games. So yeah, not a known quantity. So keep your eyes on that one if you're interested in the RTS space. All right, we're going to move up to Somber Echoes. This is another one that Soverek put on the Subreddit, again, you guys can join the subreddit. There's 55 of you watching the stream. Thank you guys for watching the stream tonight. If you are not subscribed to the Legacy Gaming subreddit, just so you guys know, we're looking at a bunch of trailers that you all, the community, have submitted. We're looking at them every week. The reactions go up on the second channel, Legacy Gaming Reacts. It's this whole ecosystem of stuff that we're doing here. So if you are not part of the subreddit, all I ask is that you subscribe. You don't even have to commit to posting anything, but if you want to, one video a week would be awesome, or you can just lurk. That's totally cool too. All right, we're going to check out Somber Echoes. This is a game that I have no idea what this is about. Silverite just really coming in clutch with all these like random games that I've never heard of. All right, here we go. Oh my gosh, my YouTube is like absolutely cursed today.
Beloved sister, I have learned of the task that lies before you. Whether it is duty or destiny that drives you,
Metroidvania?
I wonder if in this path you see the prophecy about you ending my life fulfilled. But hear me now. If you set foot on this vessel, I will lend yours.
Huh. Was not anticipating this.
Beloved sister, think deeply about your next steps. I implore you to take caution.
Interesting. Really threw me for a loop with that one. I was not anticipating a Metroidvania. I actually was really turned off by like the main character design, like some like knockoff Power Ranger with a ponytail. Definitely threw me for a loop, but like after seeing the actual gameplay, I'm a little bit more interested. Like, I love me an Ori and the Will of the Wisps and Dead Cells and Hollow Knight. Like, those are games that I just truly enjoy. They are definitely my type of game. So to see a game that kind of threw me for a loop into this genre, I'm actually okay with. And we see some of the unique abilities, right? Like some of the electrical stuff, some of the teleportation stuff. There's definitely something here. We see a number of different weapons that the character is using with the sword, the spear. I think we saw a bow there quickly as she shot through a number of enemies. Very interesting. Oh, this one is out now. Get out of here. Let's check out what the Steam page has to say about it. I already forgot what it was called because it's got a not memorable game. What's it called? Echoes? Somber Echoes. Okay, that's actually not a bad name, but Somber Echoes, $25, and just that one trailer, which is kind of strange. Somebody's playing it here, pre-recorded. Let's see. When did this come out? January 21st. It's got 48 positive reviews. Tiny little game. Rock Pocket Games. Don't know anything about them. Moons of Madness. Oh, okay, that's got a lot of reviews. Sci-fi horror adventure. Lab Games. Okay, so clearly, I don't know if it's like two companies or one, but their first game did really well. All right, let's see if we can learn a little bit more about this game. Can we make this bigger? No, we can't. Somber Echoes is a dark fantasy Metroidvania rooted in ancient Greek mythologies. You shall set out to stop your twin sister from destroying the universe and venture into the challenges and mysteries ahead to find the answers to the questions hidden under the ashes of an impending destruction of the worlds. The decisions you make when you play determine your fate and ending of the game. A cataclysmic event turned the once beautiful and proud Greco-Roman space vessel, Atromitos, into breeding grounds for infested horrors from an unknown dimension. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Here's some more. Multiple biomes. We see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different biomes. Master perfect parry to gain a combat advantage. Some cool enemy design. I like the enemies. And true 3D of the enemies too, which is really neat. Progressive traversal. I don't know what progressive traversal means, but there's very clearly some mechanics for traversing. And then it kind of just trails off into some bullet points. I think this is interesting. There's definitely something here. I don't know what creator this is, but thanks for letting us watch your stuff for a hot minute. It actually looks like it handles really well. Like sometimes the Metroidvania game, it really, really comes down to how does it feel to use your character. That is such a huge part of the Metroidvania genre. I really don't love the main character. Like, I think the main character design is pretty lame, but the movement and the action looks really good. With some animation jank there. But ultimately, yeah, not a bad first look at this game. So if you're interested, this is called Somber Echoes. No demo, unfortunately. Maybe there's something at Steam Next Fest. Generic is probably a good way to describe it, but there are not that many Metroidvania games anymore. So like everyone does a good job for the most part. That everyone that reaches kind of like my level that I'm looking at it, seems to do a good enough job trying to stand out, right? Like the character, yes, the main character is very generic, but like the world is pretty interesting. These enemies are pretty interesting, even if like some of the animation stuff is a little whack. But anyways, Somber Echoes out there for $25. You guys can check it out. And we are going to keep moving. I'm going to skip Phantom's Blade Zero for just one hot minute because I do want to check out All Will Fall. This is a game that popped up on my feed the other day, and I actually didn't click on it because I wanted to save it for the stream here. I didn't know what it was. This does not look like the type of game that I thought it was going to be. I thought it was another survival game. This does not look like that. So, I have no understanding of what this game is. So let's check it out together. Once everything loads. Physics-based survival city builder. Interesting genre blending. Oh, fascinating. This was absolutely not what I was expecting. And I'm pretty pumped about that. There's a playtest that's live on Steam now. You guys can check it out. I love a good survival city builder, right? Frostpunk, one of my favorite games of all time. Like, that is a survival city builder. I love to see that genre continue to keep going and expand on, quite honestly, what I think is one of the most untapped genres out there. I know city builders aren't for everybody, but this is really interesting, right? So the city building part of it is you are clearly on this like decrepit oil rig or something like that, and you have a colony of people that you're trying to protect. But the X factor is the physics, right? You have to create this base that is supposed to sustain life, but everything can come tumbling down. And what I actually think is the XX factor is the storms and other things right there. You see it right there. Those XX factors, for lack of a better term, completely change the way that you approach these things, right? So you approach it in one way, and this is often what happens in these types of games. You just figure out the basis of the game. How do you build in a way where your buildings aren't crumbling down and you're taking care of your population? Cool, right? That's one layer to this. Then, once you get comfortable with that, then the game starts throwing these obstacles at you. And these obstacles are storms and other things that are going to completely disrupt the way that you go about playing the game. And that's going to change it entirely. I really like this. This is very cool. And while they don't really show us all of the UI stuff, they show us a little bit here, right, with some of the building tools at the bottom. You can kind of see we're going to have to take care of food. We're going to have to take care of water. I don't know what that like industrial building one is. Maybe that's like workstations. Then you've got power. I don't know what the flag would be. And then you've got some sort of decoration, right? So there's, it's systems that we're familiar with in other city builders, but you're injecting so much new idea to the genre. Like the physics-based building is so cool to see in this space. I'm a little giddy about it because quite honestly, like this is definitely the type of game that I will be checking out. Hence why it was in my feed, right? They knew that I would be interested in this type of game, and I sure as heck am. So this is called All Will Fall, right? Is that what the name of this game is? All Will Fall. Wishlist it now. You can play test it live on Steam. Let's just check it out to see if it's a demo or what it is. Yeah, you can request access right now to play more of it. Looks like the game is going to come out sometime this year. And yeah, there's a lot more that you can learn about the game. Every building can collapse, manage a bustling group of survivors, make difficult yet necessary decisions. I like this part of it because this really makes me think about Frostpunk, right? Frostpunk built its reputation on you having to make tough choices, and I would love to see how that kind of comes to life in a different game because I don't think other games have really tapped into that same level of humanity that Frostpunk was able to kind of peel back the layers on. This is some cool stuff, guys. So, yeah, this one is definitely one I'm going to be checking out. You can request access to it right now, right here on Steam. And, again, it's called All Will Fall. Good looks on that one, man. Pumped about that. Absolutely pumped about that. All right, let's check out Difficult Spare 3935's video, Phantom Blade Zero, official Year of the Snake gameplay trailer. A lot of talk about these kind of samurai ninja games right now. There's a lot of buzz, right? Ninja Gaiden was just revealed at the Xbox event. We got Assassin's Creed Shadows coming out, Ghost of Yotai. Like, there's a lot going on in this space right now. I think everybody's kind of jockeying for position. I don't know much about Phantom Blade Zero, so let's see what this one's all about. This feels very Soulsy to me. Dang, real good though. Man, super clean. Oh. Oh, hell yeah. These animations are real nice, guys. It's funny because this is probably like the starting boss of the game. But like, look at how crazy everything is. Gives you a sense for like what the rest of the game could potentially be like. They're bringing him back to life. Whoever's playing is perfect, by the way, which is not surprising, right? Obviously, it's like a developer playing, but they are absolutely perfect in their execution of this. Oh, dang. Oh, that music changed, too. I love me a two-phase boss fight. The like whole marionette concept is really cool. Come on, man, get him. You got the stagger meter full. Let's go. I think we're trying to get, there we go. Stagger meter's gone now. Oh, dang. Man, that was, whoever played this had perfect execution. He must be like the lead combat designer or something. Yo. Ooh, baby. That is legit. And, you know, for a trailer that was supposed to be like the Year of the Snake trailer, right? Like, it was literally just a gameplay boss fight. That was really cool. I know nothing about this game. Oh, man, this is like their a weapon reveal trailer, too. And it's like this crazy animation. Yeah, to your point, it's over the top, right? And sometimes these games are over the top intentionally. But what I really liked about what I just saw was it was over the top and really clean, right? Like, we already know Unreal Engine 5 is really great visually. We know that. But what ends up happening is the developers will sometimes over-engineer elements on top of the gameplay. And this definitely happens with Eastern-style games, right? There are reasons why I don't play a lot of Eastern-style games. One of the reasons is the UI elements drive me absolutely bananas. Like Monster Hunter, perfect example. I have a really hard time getting past kind of like the bulk and heft of the UI. This is very clearly about good, solid combat. And this was a great showcase of this game. If you wanted to convince somebody that plays Souls games or games like Dante's Inferno or Devil May Cry, this is the type of video you show them. Because yes, it's over-the-top combat, which people in those genres tend to like for the most part, but also really clean. There's a lot of really cool stuff here. And this was a straight up boss fight. It was a straight up perfectly executed boss fight against 7 different enemies, which is really nuts. It's like 7 enemies. One of them is kind of like the ringleader. And then you have all these kind of like puppet enemies next to it. And I guarantee you, this is like one of the first boss fights of the game. Right? So it just gives you kind of a projection of where this game could go. And my guess is it's going to get pretty crazy. So I'm actually very excited about this one. I am not a PlayStation 5 guy. I think this one, it's coming to PC. That's what I was hoping to see. Phantom Blade is launching in 2025 for PS5 and PC. That is a big deal because this definitely screamed PlayStation exclusive to me. So, yeah, I am definitely going to be checking this one out. Phantom Blade Zero. I don't remember where the splash screen was. There it is. Phantom Blade Zero. Dang, that was really awesome. I'm just kind of blown away by that one. All right, let's keep on going. Hey, in the spirit of talking about all things ninjas and samurai and everything else in that vein, did you guys catch this? Ninja Gaiden 4 announced at the Xbox Developer Direct. I thought it was a good Developer Direct, right? It was 4 big games. It was Expedition 33, South of Midnight, Doom the Dark Age, and this reveal. So I'm pretty pumped about this one. My memories of Ninja Gaiden are actually pretty funny. Like, I grew up not being able to play a lot of these games. Like, I just wasn't allowed to get games like this. But I lived right next door to my cousin, and my cousin had every game under the sun. Every game like this. It's where I learned about, like, Phantasy Star Online. It's where I learned about Dead or Alive. It's where I learned about Ninja Gaiden. So he really introduced me to this entire world of gaming. So, like, I've known about Ninja Gaiden for a very long time. Can't say I've ever played any of them to any great lengths, just like whatever he would let me play. And here I am now as a 33-year-old, almost 34-year-old, and Ninja Gaiden 4 is coming out, so I could probably play this one and get it. I don't think anybody's going to get in the way of that. But let's check out the official announcement trailer together and see if, the 4th one is going to win over the masses.
Several years ago, the Dark Dragon, youngest of the divine dragon gods, wreaked havoc across the world. The plot was ultimately thwarted through the efforts of a sole ninja. However, the Dark Dragon's husk remained, and from this husk fell an endless downpour of cursed rain. The abandoned Tokyo continues its struggle against chaos to this day.
Infiltrated the facility. Commencing mission.
That's a name I know, Platinum Games.
No escape.
You want to talk about over the top? My goodness.
You're open. Weak. This is it. Ryu Hayabusa.
Whatever your clan is plotting, it ends here. So you've come, Raven.
Back off, Hayabusa. I will execute my mission.
Huh. There's something I didn't catch before. And, to echo Livid's point, action combat fans are going to be eating good this year. There are so many good action combat games going on right now that have either been revealed or coming out this year. It's a really cool year for those types of games, which doesn't always happen that way, right? I'm sorry, guys. It's been a long, long weekend, so I'm fighting with you to stay up. The action combat genre doesn't often see a lot of entries in any given year, right? Like in the early 2000s, action combat was the thing. But then that branched off into Souls combat, and turn-based combat kind of expanded even more. And then, you had the indie boom. So, like, you just don't have that many developers making these types of action combat games. And so to see so many of them kind of back to back to back, Phantom Blade Zero, this one, Ghost of Yotai, is very cool, and all kind of in the same-ish genre, which is, I think, pretty neat for a genre that doesn't get a whole lot of love. This is definitely, you talk about over the top, this is over the top. And what I actually thought was really interesting was that there was the Ninja Gaiden previous hero, who I do not know his name, and then you've got this new hero, and they're clearly at odds in some way, shape, or form. So it's going to be really interesting to see what their dynamic is as the game progresses. I don't know what the setting was of Ninja Gaiden 3, but I vaguely remember that, like, the Ninja Gaiden games that I played growing up were very much more traditional Japan, right? You've got the traditional architecture. You definitely you don't have any of this, like, digital, modern samurai plus technology, ninja plus technology. So, it's really interesting to see. That's the Ninja Gaiden guy I remember, which is hilarious. Again, like I said, I only know this series by association through my cousin. But it's very clear at the end of this trailer here that the two main characters right here where they're fighting are at odds. So how is that going to work? Do you play as one and then play as the other? Do you eventually fight the original one, as the trailer kind of alludes to? I don't really know. It's pretty interesting stuff. But if you like this type of combat, and I don't think there's anybody clamoring for another Ninja Gaiden game, to be honest with you. I haven't seen anything online about, hey, we need to bring back Ninja Gaiden. We need a Ninja Gaiden 4. But I think you're just going to know if this is the type of game that you like to play, with a lot of fast action, a lot of over-the-top animations, you're going to pick this one up. And for Xbox to now have kind of a little bit of control over this, which is interesting because I think it's Koei Tecmo, but I didn't, it was revealed as part of the Xbox Developer Direct. So I don't know if Platinum Games is now owned by Xbox. I don't honestly know all of the subsidiaries of Xbox at this point. There's so many of them. But it is really interesting to see if Xbox does have a little bit of skin in the game on this one. They're going to make sure it's right, and they're going to make sure it's good, which I think is probably a good thing for the actual game in the series. So this is Ninja Gaiden 4, the official announced trailer. It's got almost 1 million views, guys. That's not nothing. It's only been 10 days. That's not nothing. So keep an eye on this one. Let's see. After more than 10 years comes a new mainline Ninja Gaiden game from Platinum Games, featuring a new Master Ninja protagonist to take on the brutal, bloody chaos in an abandoned Tokyo. That's all they give us here in the IGN description, which is totally fine. Anyways, Ninja Gaiden 4, keep an eye on this one. I think we'll learn a little bit more as the year goes on. And yeah, more to come. All right, let's keep cruising here. We got to check out the other one. The other two, I should say. Sean John 404 posted these on the official subreddit here. Doom the Dark Ages and Claire Obscure Expedition 33. I am very excited about Expedition 33. So incredibly excited about this game. Hopefully, Livin and I will be able to bring you guys some sort of exclusive content on this one. I think this one is going to be huge. I really do. And if you have not checked out Expedition 33, man, let's just talk about it, because this game looks really special.
Did mature.
I've been having nightmares. Being out here isn't what I expected.
Legacy can take many forms, right? Learn from the ones who came before.
And lay the trail for the ones who come after.
Wait, I hear something.
Get ready. Is that a Kestrel?
That's still can't believe they exist.
To what do we owe the pleasure of your company? I just need foot. Aha!
You can turn into a Nevrod.
Bonjour, mes amis.
We need to cross the sea? Bulger said you could help?
All right. Ready to sail like a snail.
This is a much better way to travel.
We're gonna take down the painters, just the three of us?
I didn't take you for a coward.
I'm not a coward. Painters. Us.
As long as even one of us stands, our fight is not over.
Yeah, man. Whew. I gotta tell you guys, this one, I'm not a turn-based guy. I'm just not. Like, I don't play a lot of turn-based games. But man, this just looks, it hits a lot of the right buttons. And I'll tell you what those buttons are. The first is it's got a really cool narrative premise, right? There's that tower in the distance with an artist, and she paints a new number on that every year, and it goes down, right? So 33 being the number that's on the pillar currently. When she paints a new number, all the people of that age die. So 33-year-olds are all gone. So all that's left are 32 and below. And every year, that next generation tries to stop her from painting that new number. So it's a really awesome narrative premise initially. Then you get to like the world building, and like the characters look a little generic. They definitely have, they've got their quirks to them that make them look and feel like they could be unique. But for the most part, they're characters that we've kind of seen before. But then you kind of show off different parts of the world and just some of the ways that like the UI and the elements of the game reinforce the world. And it starts to feel a little special. It starts to feel a little unique, right? The way that all of the characters are kind of artistic, the way that the world is kind of approached in an artistic way is really interesting to somebody like me, right? So you've got kind of the really strong narrative, at least premise, then you've got kind of this artistic approach to the gameplay, and then you have the gameplay itself, right? The turn-based action gameplay looks really cool with all of these different characters. I just, there's something about this one that just really grabs my attention, and I can't really put my finger on exactly what it is, but every time that I see these trailers and these gameplay clips, I'm just like really hooked on this idea. And again, we talk about this all the time, right? Innovation is a currency in this space. And this game is not like anything we've seen before. It's reminiscent of a Final Fantasy game, right? Because you've got a core group of characters that are on this epic quest. There's a lot of similarities with the gameplay and the world building and some of the over-the-top elements of it. But we haven't seen a game like that in a really long time other than other Final Fantasy games. So for a game to be taking a crack or a bite of that apple is pretty exciting to me. Like, I'm pretty excited about that. And there's all the other pieces of it that we still don't know. But we're not going to have to wait that long. And then you've got, as Livid is pinging me in chat here, you've also got the turn-based part of it as well with the quick time events, right? So if you saw that during the combat, there's skill involved in this too. It's not just pick an ability, and let it ride out. There's some skill involved here too, where all of your abilities can either be parried or you can land perfect attacks. So there's layers to the combat too, outside of the just standard turn-based stuff, which I think is really interesting as well. I haven't done as much research into this one as I would like, because I just haven't had the time. but it's absolutely one Livin and myself will be covering on the channel. April is pretty quiet as far as I know right now, so this will definitely have our attention for the time being. I think it's going to be wildly popular. I think it's going to catch on and be one of those games that kind of is really hot for about 2 weeks, and then who knows? We'll see how the reviews are. We'll see if it, kind of evolves beyond its initial launch into a DLC or potentially a sequel or something like that. We'll just see. We're just going to have to wait and see. Super excited about this one, as I see some of you guys are in the chat as well. This one is called Expedition 33, which is available on April 24th, so just a couple months away. All right, going to take a quick little break from trailers just to check in with you guys. Yeah, Dion, don't love that you're turning 33 soon. How do you think I feel? I'm 33 right now, man. I'm 33 right now. I'm a little worried about that myself. But that's okay. We're going to get through it. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I don't do this for a week, and I'm exhausted. You guys should also see how many cups I have in front of me. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cups in front of me. Yeah, 9 cups. Yeah, Lexicon, yeah, there you go, man. You're already gone. You've been gone for 4 years in that game. You're sleeping perfectly right now. You're sleeping sound and your eternal slumber. I am pumped about that game, though. I really am. I think it's going to be a really interesting game. I can't say it's going to be a good game, right? Yeah, no, it's honestly stupid. 1 cup, 2, 3, 4. This was ice cream with a cup with a beer, and this was a mason jar with a bottle of protein milk. Oh my God, I just spilled it everywhere. Did the water spill? The water spilled a little bit. Hold on. How much water spilled? Oh, like nothing. My gosh. The problem is the kitchen is so far away from the basement. I know. I'm sorry. Jeez Louise. I promise the rest of my basement is actually very clean. The cup situation is just out of control a little bit. All right? No judgment. Come on, I thought we were in a safe space here. Don't judge me in my cups. Oh, I just threw a crumb on my dog, too. Sorry, Wake. All right. See, this is what happens. We're off the rails. It's late, and we're off the rails. Let's get back to trailers, because there's a whole heck of a lot more I want to talk about. Where do we want to go next, guys? My gosh. Doom the Dark Ages. Yes, absolutely. No, we got to go here next, because I have been waiting to watch this trailer since it was revealed. If you guys are not following Split Fiction and Hazelight Studios, you guys are missing out. We have talked about It Takes Two on this channel. I mean, since the game released. It Takes Two was Game of the Year back in 2022, I think it was. And it was one of the best games that Livin and I have ever played. Period. Full stop. No need for further explanation. I'm going to explain it further anyways. It was a co-op game that we played together, and you play as two characters that are in the same world, and you have to interact with your character that's on kind of like another path, essentially. You're in the same game space together, but what's happening in my world is like how do I even describe this? What's happening on my side of the world is influencing what's happening on Livid's side of the world, and vice versa. Right? So it's a lot of platforming and puzzling, right? A door's blocking my way. Livid needs to do something on his part of the world to unlock the door that's blocking my way, and then that dynamic flips. Then, as you kind of progress through the game, new mechanics become unlocked, new systems get introduced, and Hazelight just did an absolutely masterful job of making that interesting. So fast forward to 2025, and Split Fiction is coming out. The announced trailer has already been out there for, I think, a month or so now. It looks incredible. It's a very similar concept. This is the official co-op gameplay trailer, which I have not seen yet. I am so excited because Livin and I will be playing this one before launch. I will do everything in my power to make sure that happens so I can bring you guys a review. And, of course, we don't know if this game is going to be good, but, like, It Takes Two is one of the best games of all time. So let's see. Let's just check this one out. I'm gonna try and not gonna go into stand mode, but it's gonna be pretty hard.
Oh my god! I'm not doing this! Push the button! No!
2021 Game of the Year. There you go.
Hey guys, this is Hazelight's next co-op adventure. I'm so excited about our new game that I want to give you one more sneak peek. Have a look at this. In this level, Mio and Zoe are stuck in one of Mio's sci-fi stories. This one is all about gravity and how to defy it using the tools provided by Mio's story.
Hop on! Wait!
But there's also a crazy bike chase. And of course, a badass boss.
Looks so good.
Okay, here's another one. Now they're in one of Zoe's fancy stories.
I'm a fairy!
Where they can shapeshift.
What the?
Into various fantastic
Oh.
creatures. Each with its unique set of abilities to help them get to the next level. At Hazelight, we really love gameplay variety. That's why we added side stories that are completely different from the main path.
Oh.
Side stories are found in the main levels and looks like a portal. Once you enter, you end up in a new world.
Fascinating.
For example, how about flying around in space?
Oh, dang.
Or ride on a sandfish in the desert. And why not water ski behind the train? So just trust me when I say this. This is side content you don't want to miss.
Really? What?
Whew. Whew. I am so excited about this game, man. It Takes Two, I think what's really striking to me, like what I'm noticing a lot with It Takes Two and now Split Fiction, is just the amount of activity on the screen has definitely bumped up. It Takes Two was a little bit easier to digest on the eyes. It was a little bit easier to kind of like parse everything that you're seeing on the screen because it was a little bit more cartoony. This one, I'm seeing a lot more happening on the screen during each of these scenes, which could make it a little bit more challenging, right? I think there's a real, I don't want to say it's a worry, but there's a real possibility that the team takes the gameplay too far, that it's not as accessible to everyone. And that's what It Takes Two did so well. It was an easy game where couples, husbands and wives or whatever, could play the game, and like one person doesn't need to be, like one of the people that's playing don't need to be a masterful gamer. You could pick it up and you could figure it out. This looks a little bit more complicated than that, right? Like you see some of the gameplay sequences and you're like, oh, all right, like that's something I would expect to see in like one of my games that I play by myself. Now you're relying on yourself and your partner, whether that's a gamer or not a gamer or not so much of a gamer, and you're relying on them to help you get through it. It's really hard to take that all in as you're watching the game jump from like different scene to different gameplay mechanics, etc. Because what It Takes Two did so well was kind of get you into a frame of mind and then introduce a system kind of beat by beat. You never felt like you were out of rhythm because the game was just constantly taking you from step 1 to step 2 to step 3 and beyond. And it felt really organic. This has a potential to go the opposite direction, right? It does have the potential to get a little too crazy and a little too ambitious. And the cool thing about these games is that you only need to buy one copy, right? So you buy one and then you can play it with whoever you want, whether it's your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, your kid. It doesn't matter who it is. But part of that excitement is knowing that you can play a game with a person in your life that you enjoy, playing games with. And that person may not be amazing at video games. And that's what It Takes Two did so well was make the game accessible and make it still be an incredible experience. Split Fiction has to hit that same mark. So they're trying to elevate the game while also kind of holding true to those parameters so that it's accessible, it's exciting, it's narratively compelling, but also evolved and elevated. Not an easy thing to do. They have their work cut out for them. But as a gamer, right, as the gamer in my house, I'm pumped about this. I'm excited to play this with Livid, right? Another avid gamer who knows his stuff. Like, we're not going to have any problem with it. But that's not what necessarily made It Takes Two so successful. It was its accessibility to everyone while also still being excellent. So all that to say, Split Fiction looks incredible. I am super excited about this game. March 6th is when it's coming out. You only need to buy one copy, which is kind of one of the selling points. You can buy one copy, but you can play it with whoever else as like the guest pass. And yeah, man, this is going to be awesome. Hazelight does not miss. They have not missed in quite some time. So I'm not worried about it. I'm just kind of looking at it critically and seeing what potentially could fall short, but I do not think it's going to. I think it's going to be an amazing game. Super excited about this one. All right, guys, we got a little bit of time left. Probably 2 trailers left. There's a lot of cool stuff on here that we can talk about. Man, so many things. There's some more Expedition 33, Black Myth Wukong. Let's check out this one. Livid posted this one. You know I always got to pay attention to stuff when Livid posts it, right? Vault Breakers. Terrible cinematic, good-looking game, ? That's interesting. For Livid to say that, there's got to be some reality to it. So I want to check this one out. See what this is all about. Know nothing about this game. Doesn't have a ton of views on this trailer. 10,000 views. It's not nothing, but it's not something. Yeah, let's just check out Vault Breakers and let's see what it's all about. I mean, this feels like a mobile game cinematic. I'll give Livid that. Oh, here we go. All right, so very clearly in the League MOBA vibe. Feels almost like what Core Punk should have been. I wouldn't be surprised if Core Punk developers worked on this one. Oh, he dead. Dang. All right, Vault Breakers, grab your key, vaultbreakers.com. Let's see if we can find this one on Steam, because, yeah, definitely not enough to really... Here we go, Vault Breakers. Let's see what this one's all about, guys. So, Vault Breakers is a hardcore, top-down, PvEVP ARPG that blends epic brawler combat with tense tactical extraction gameplay. Fight alongside friends or as a lone wolf to survive intense, dangerous missions in a dynamic fantasy world. Defeat deadly foes, outsmart rival players, and claim your spoils. Let's just pop into this pre-recorded stream here. Let's just take a peek. I mean, it looks okay. It looks okay. I mean, I like a good PvEVP game. I really do. And there's a, I think that's another person. Yeah, it definitely is. It doesn't look bad. A lot of generic elements, I guess. Like a lot of the spells, a lot of the equipment. But I don't mind the action. The action looks okay if you're into this type of thing. I just spent a lot of time playing the other PvEVP game, which I'm blanking on right now. It's, what the heck? It's Supervive. I spent a lot of time playing Supervive recently. Yeah, I think this one could be interesting. I think these types of games definitely have a tendency to just not reach enough people, quite honestly with you. Looks like there's at least 3 heroes. You had, who was it here? Bjorn, Nymeria, and there was at least one other one. Bjorn, Sparkwing. So I guess it'll really depend on the heroes, the gameplay, if they can get a sizable audience. Not a whole lot to be known about this one other than the team made Minion Masters, which very positive, 64,000 reviews. So very clearly you can see kind of the art style inspiration here. I don't know anything about this game. This looks like a Hero TD, to be honest with you. Oh, it's one of these. But you can see it's kind of in a similar... It's kind of in a similar world. Maybe it's the same... Maybe it's even the same game world. It very possibly could be. They're clearly using the same engine. Anyways. Yeah, that one's called Vault Breakers if you guys want to check it out. No official announced date yet. Just says to be determined or to be announced. So... And they do have some watch the developers play, so you can check out the devs playing this game. I don't know if this is even pre-recorded. This might actually be live right now. I don't see anything that says pre-recorded, so who knows? Anyways, Vault Breakers. There you go. All right, guys, we got time to check out one more before I say goodnight. Let's see. What should we look at together? Oh, man. Hard to say. A lot of good stuff. Everything else we'll get to next week. I think we got to do Doom the Dark Ages. Doom the Dark Ages was, another gameplay trailer was revealed at the Xbox Developer Direct, which hit in January. Oh, this is a long one. This is 11 minutes. Let's do it. Screw it. What's up, George? Good to see you, brother. Yeah, we're going to watch this one down. 11 minutes long. I think it's the perfect one to end our night with. I might pause this one as opposed to... loop it through. I'm excited about this game, guys. If you have been watching the Doom Dark Age stuff, it's really cool. They're doing some really interesting things. The way they're kind of transforming Doom Guy to be the right hero for this kind of Middle Ages theme. And yeah, I don't remember watching all 11 minutes of this because I remember I was doing something else during the Xbox Developer Direct. So I'm excited that I get to actually sit down and watch it with you all now in real time. So let's do it. I thought that was Phil Spencer for a second.
Hello, and welcome to Dallas, Texas, home of id Software, where more than 30 years ago, a small team of game developers helped define and set a course for first-person shooters. A lot has changed since then, but our team is as passionate as ever. And the most important values at the core of our games, innovation, craftsmanship, and performance, remain a priority for us to this day.
And as you're about to see, those values are infused in every aspect of this latest installment in the legendary Doom franchise. It is an honor to work on this game, to carry on id's tradition of creating all-out, groundbreaking levels of fun.
So now, we're excited to share with you a look at our most ambitious game yet. This is Doom the Dark Ages.
That was so stupid I mouthed the words. In Doom the Dark Ages, you will feel like the superweapon in the center of a medieval war against hell. Set in a cinematic
like that
sci-fi
idea.
fantasy world full of locations to explore, powerful weapons to unlock, and enemies to conquer. This is a prequel to Doom 2016, and that's given us the opportunity to reimagine every aspect of this experience. So if you're new to the franchise, then Doom the Dark
Dude's wearing a
Ages will be
cowboy
the
hat in
perfect
Dallas,
entry
Texas.
point into
Come
the
on
series.
now.
And if you're a longtime fan, then you'll be proud to see, in a lot of ways, the feel of the game is really a return to form. So let's break it down, starting with the combat. In Doom Eternal, you felt like a fighter jet. In Doom the Dark Ages, you'll be an iron tank. Heavy, strong, but still fast. A grounded combat system with an emphasis on power over the acrobatics of Doom Eternal.
I do like that. I
And a
like
balance
grounded
between
combat.
enemy projectiles and player movement speed that makes strafing to aim viable again, just like in the classic Doom games. But it's not all about nostalgia. Innovation is the goal, always. And so
There's
for
that
Doom
word,
the Dark
guys,
Ages,
innovation.
it's an all-new world with new tools and new mechanics to master. Let me introduce you to the Shield Saw.
Oh, man.
Block. Throw. Parry. Deflect. All from one input. It's contextual. Tons of depth on a single button press. You know, we want every Doom game to stand on its own as a unique experience. So in 2016, we asked you to run and gun. In Doom Eternal, it was jump and shoot. And in Doom the Dark Ages, you're gonna stand and fight.
It's actually a really cool design philosophy. Just kind of like change up that
And the
core
Shield Saw will
idea
give you
every
the
game.
strength to go head to head with some of the biggest, baddest demons we've ever created at id. But that's not all. Because if you're gonna stand and fight, then you gotta have something to follow up that opening parry with. How about an iron flail?
Oh, the flail. Let's
Or maybe
go.
an electrified gauntlet. Or even a Doom spiked mace.
Oh, man.
That's right,
Those
we
are
have
cool
3
weapons.
melee options that are part of a melee system. All on one input, complete with combos and upgrades. And it's totally awesome. And you can finish off the demons now with an all-new, unsynced, completely in the player's control glory kill system. From any angle, in and out, as you see fit. And it feels amazing. You'll feel unstoppable, smashing your way through the horde with total freedom.
Oh.
And
Yeah,
that
it does look
seems like
really
a ton, but that's
smooth.
just 2 inputs. We got one more really important button that we haven't talked about yet. The trigger. That's right, we've saved the best for last. Doom has and always will be all about the guns, and Dark Ages has some of the most ridiculously powerful weapons that we've ever created. Mean. Ancient. Brutal torture machines built to butcher, impale, and shred the minions of hell with. Only in Doom. That's the mission statement for the design of these never-before-seen, insanely fun-to-use tools of mayhem that only the Slayer has the power to wield. So let's take a look at some extended gameplay footage and see how these medieval mechanics synergize with the enemies and the environments to form the new combat loop for Doom the Dark Ages.
I love the shield, man. The shield for me makes it. It really does. Like, I love the gunplay, don't get me wrong. And it's really cool that, like, on the screen, I'm just gonna turn this down so you guys can hear me. Like, on the screen, you can see very clearly, like, what visual things you need to be paying attention to be able to parry, right? So green is something that you can parry or reflect. Purple is when an enemy is at, right there, is at its, like, end-of-life glory kill, I think they said. And then I'm not sure what yellow was. Yellow might have been just, like, stagger. But you'll see, like, a yellow halo at times. And I think maybe that's just, like, staggered or weakened. There's the glory kill.
And under the hood, for
That's
the
cool
first
stuff,
time
man.
in an id game, we've made our combat more approachable and flexible than ever before, with a new difficulty system and sliders that will allow players
cool.
to tune the speed and challenge of the game to whatever fits them best. You can slow things down or speed them up. It's a Doom for
Oh, I want to
all
play this game at
slayers.
150%
And the
speed. That's
gameplay
crazy.
doesn't end with just the Slayer. We finally have for you, you've been waiting for 2 games now, to get in and pilot your very own 30-story Atlan, which is a mech. It's the size of a building, it's powerful, and you can beat giant Titan-sized demons to death with your gauntleted fists. And if that wasn't enough, we also have for you your very own fire-breathing, Gatling gun-toting cybernetic dragon. Neither of these are one-and-done features either. They have a full suite of abilities and even mini-bosses. The spectacle is epic. The Power Fantasy is unlike anything we've made it in. And the combat systems behind these features are deep and tons of fun. And as cool as all that is, we know that fans of single-player action games expect more than just great combat to pull them through the experience. So we're excited to share with you not just the gunplay, but the world of Doom: The Dark Ages. Your hero's journey will take you to the far reaches of the Doom universe. Mysterious worlds from the Slayer's past, dark forests, dungeons, ancient hellscapes, battlefields, and worlds beyond. And through exploration, you'll be unlocking new abilities and godlike powers every step of the way. Now armed with your trusty shield saw, you're gonna cut, leap, and smash your way through environments full of secrets and treasures. There's always something new waiting to be discovered or destroyed. Now let's take a closer look at just one of the many missions you'll experience in Doom: The Dark Ages. In this level, you will meet the enemy at the gates and save a city from certain destruction. Explore the medieval battlefield outside the castle walls, seeking out targets and enemy formations along the way to engage with as you see fit, with any gun you choose. Explore what is the largest play space ever in a Doom game, discovering secret caves and dungeon-like mines in search of vital resources. You control the pace of the game. Where you go, who you fight, and the objectives you pursue.
It's interesting. It's almost like they're setting up an open world
sandbox
game.
full of war and riches. Once you've broken the enemy assault, head back to the main gates because the battle isn't over yet.
Oh, big boy. Really big boy.
And the soundtrack to your epic adventures will be composed by the award-winning team at Finishing Move, providing you with a metal soundscape that's loaded with guitars, medieval vibes, and pure adrenaline. You'll feel like you're expanding the legend of the Slayer with every mission you complete.
How do you play a game like this without
And
any
speaking
music?
of that legend,
It's going to be a challenge for
the
us, Liv.
story of Doom: The Dark Ages, like everything else in the game, is big. It's a summer blockbuster event with everything on the line, and you are the star of the show. Your power is coveted by your enemies and withheld from your allies. With the Slayer imprisoned at the start of our story, the balance of power between good and evil is shifting, and time is running out. It's a new story and the perfect entry point for new players. It's easier to access now as we've taken the narrative out of the codex and into the cutscenes, featuring new characters, old allies, and powerful new villains. And for returning players, it leads directly into the Doom 2016 Slayer's Testaments. It's an action story worthy of the Slayer's legend.
We've got 10 years of making modern Doom games together, and we've done better with every game we've made.
The hope with all this, the goal, is to give players an experience that's as fun to play as it was to make, and make something that's good enough to become the best game id has ever made.
But that is for you to decide. When Doom: The Dark Ages releases,
That's a cool way to end the trailer. Man, yeah, it just looks real good. Just looks real good. I don't know what to tell you guys. it has been making Doom games for a long time. The new Doom games are really, really good. I love the Medieval Ages, and I just really love the interplay between the 3 weapons. And I'll just jump quickly to the gameplay. Let's see here. Yeah, I love the interplay between the 3 weapons, right? You've got the shield, you've got your guns, and then you've got the melee weapons. And the interplay between them feels so smooth, like buttery smooth, that I think that's what I'm most excited about for this game. Like, I love the theme, I love the aesthetic, but it's all the simplicity of the systems and how they all work together that I'm most excited about. Like I was just saying while we were watching that down, everything's got an on-screen cue to know what you can do, and it's all very seamless, right? They were very clear and intentional about, hey, you press one button, you're going to do this thing, and if you do it at the right time, it's going to give you the desired output. But when you start layering those together, you get a really interesting tapestry of a game. You've got a lot of cool, simple systems that work well together, and that is often the key to making something really solid from a gameplay perspective, right? Hopefully the progression stuff, like we're seeing a lot of the same weapons, hopefully a lot of the progression stuff continues to elevate that. We didn't really get a chance to see that, nor should they spoil any of that, but we saw enough of the base concept here that, man, if you're not excited about this one, I don't know. They're showing more than they have to, and that is always a sign that they're very confident in their game, right? Any developer that shows more of their game up front, way before release, means they're very confident in what they're creating, and they're excited for players to get it. Any developer that's hiding that stuff ahead of launch means they're not confident in it, and they're not excited about it. It's very clear, and it's always been the case in everything that we've covered here on the channel. Devs that are hiding things are not confident in their games. Devs that are showing the stuff off left and right are very, very confident in their product. So I am very excited about this one. I think it's going to be a fantastic game coming out in May, which is, again, right around the corner. All right, guys, so we're going to call it here for the night. I appreciate all you hanging out. If you are not subscribed to the Legacy Gaming subreddit, please do so. I saw some new voices in the chat tonight. It was awesome hanging out with you guys. Fox the Angel, I saw you snuck in late. Would love to have you guys subscribe to the subreddit. Of course, subscribe to the second channel, Legacy Gaming Reacts. A lot of these videos you'll see up on that channel over the next week or so. And yeah, we'll be back next Sunday. Still some trailers to go through from last week, but if you see new stuff out there, put it on the subreddit. And yeah, I'm having a great time doing these streams with you guys. It's been a ton of fun, and I'm looking forward to more. So as always, my name is Kodiak. Thank you so much for watching, and take care and play on. See you guys. Have a good one.